hey, I want to show you this app that I'm releasing. I'm making this repo public, and I'll just kind of walk you through the deployed version of it. And this is something that you could deploy yourself. I'm kind of just releasing all the code so you can do exactly what I've done for myself. So the reason I made this app, my wife is a avid day trader. So I think there's this great term on Twitter X called wifeware or wifeyware. This is definitely wifeware. I made this for my wife and she uses it. The idea is you add assets. This could be ETFs, stocks. I might add crypto and other assets later. They show up here. These are the 7-day averages. I have this idea of you can hook in Telegram, email, used to have SMS, texting. I took that out because it was kind of expensive. Telegram is free. Email is nearly free with SES. And then this is like an example of a type of update you can get related to your asset. We have this idea of a daily digest. We're following like asset prices coming from the massive API. Top movers is what are stocks that are really doing really large swings, either positive or negative. News coming from, I'm using Grok, which hooks into X for social media posts. And news is the massive API actually has news specifically related to the assets you track. So we're kind of combining news from Grok searching the internet and this massive provided stock endpoint. And then rumors is truly the Grok searching Twitter X for just people talking about the assets that you're tracking. I also added prediction markets, Kalshi, and Polymarket of what are some relevant prediction markets related to the assets you track. You can also include calendar events like when are dividends coming out, stock splits, when are new IPOs happening. An analyst consensus is usually like once a month published by FinHub. So this little green is when I'm pulling in from FinHub. Insider trades, I really like this one. This is based on if Satya is trading Microsoft and stuff like that. And then I have some price move alerts. I've set this where if the stock moves more than 5%, just send me a notification. I did consider having like smart alerts where we're tracking like unusual trading patterns and comparing it to the sector that the stock is in. I just felt like that was kind of complicated. I may revisit that. For now, it's just straight up track percentage and dollar change basically in a single trading day. So from open to close, does it move more than this? Send a notification. So that's like the brief overview. Let me just we noticed here it says next delivery in 41 minutes. So the concept I have here is some of these like price move alerts will just send whenever they get triggered. And that's what I call like a market notification of you can send price move alerts. You can also set up like specific delivery times where at a specific time of the day, you can get a price notification. And then our main driver here is like the daily notification. So the idea for this is just to text you, or not text you, but send you a telegram or an email with a broad overview of what's happening with your assets in the market. And then these are market notifications. Are more about trigger based. So this says next delivery in 40 minutes. It's currently the weekend. So on the weekend, you get just anything relevant to the asset, but not necessarily tied in with the current market price since the stock market is closed. But let's just go up here and I'm going to change the daily digest. Let's see, it's about 8:19 a.m. So I'm going to change this to 8 and let's do like 8:21 since this is flipping over in just a minute. All right, so it's going to deliver in 53 seconds. So that's brief overview here. Why don't I go over and here you can see this is Telegram of it sending like price updates, and here's some poly markets and Kalshi's tracking like is there going to be a Fed cut, tracking the S&P, USA China tariff deal. So these are macroeconomic things that are probably relevant if there's going to be a recession. And then I've started adding in ideas of, okay, I'm tracking SpaceX. What is the relevant polymarket and calculs around SpaceX? And then this is an example of a triggered notification of a certain asset I tracked, or my wife tracked, is up 5% today. And here's an example of it being up, being triggered by this 5% alert, where in a single trading day it went up 5%. And this is showing the stock price from open to when it triggered. So let's go over here and see. Okay, it looks like it flipped over, so it should have sent me a notification. And is this for me? Yep, it should be. Triggered through. It probably is coming right through. Let's refresh my email. There it is. So saying, okay, it's the market, or it's the market's closed. So these are prices as of when it closed on Friday. And we've got these stocks here, the news related to my stocks, the rumors, the prediction markets. And here's that top movers of, apparently this asset called SHOT went up 2,400%. And then here's some losers in the market. This is any stock that's over $5. I track it because the penny stocks and things that are much smaller can swing really heavily. So I just locked it to assets over $5. So yeah, this is an example of a email-based notification. And then I showed you the Telegram. This is the repo. I had AI generate this. It's kind of ugly, but I'll walk through it a bit. That I'm tracking kind of my users, which are just 2 users in Supabase using Postgres. You could do this just on a local Postgres, I don't know, SQLite, whatever you want to do. It's a relational database for storing users and their notification preferences. Inside, I'm using Vercel just purely for the hosting. And there are some API routes, but I'm using the free tier of Vercel. So nothing fancy on the Vercel side, just mainly for hosting. And then for our external providers, I'm using Massive for stocks and tracking a bunch of things related to the assets. FinHub has some unique ones like the earnings calendar and insider trades. I use XAI Grok for doing some of the summaries and for tracking like social media rumors. The Telegram bot API, of course, for doing Telegram stuff. Other than that, everything is in AWS using CloudFormation. So we're talking like the SES for email. I back up all of the Supabase users to S3. You have to pay Supabase if you want to do backup. So I just put in a backup solution. I use like a queue for if a notification fails or there's anything with like as we update asset prices, if there's any failures with our upstream providers, it can go into a queue to retry. So we don't, any external providers don't like fail completely. It goes into like a dead letter queue. What else should I point out here? Yeah, everything is pretty clean. I think it's all done in AWS. My cost per month is pretty low, like under $10. I'm even bringing the cost down more and more every day. It's pretty cheap to run. It's just Lambda functions. I do have a Lambda function that basically runs every minute. And it's just a heartbeat Lambda that checks for the prices in order to do those triggered alerts. And then it just kind of goes through, checks the users, who's due to be notified. Are there any stocks that went up more than 5% or whatever their trigger threshold is, and then send out either an SES email and or send out a Telegram notification. And the stack on this, we're again using Astro. I really like Astro. It just allows you to do a lot of stuff in vanilla JavaScript. And then I use Vue for some of the reactive components, like anything that has a lot of like interactivity. I used Vue as a Astro Island. The database is just Supabase Postgres Market data, I mentioned those third-party providers, use some AI here. This is all in AWS. Telegram bot API, that's free. Hosting Vercel. And then I just have like a bunch of quality stuff. We're using Biome and Veep Test and Playwright to do some end-to-end testing to make sure everything's solid. This is the note about the text messaging that I took out recently, but you could add it back on your own fork. I do have, like, if you want to run this app locally, I have it set up where you can run Podman, and it's basically mirroring what's done in Supabase. So you can run the entire app, all the tests, anything you want fully locally using Docker. I use Podman, but you can use Docker. Here's some directions. Here's like setting up some of the keys. And that's about it. So if you have any questions, I love if you want to contribute in here. Again, this is mainly for my wife, so I'm probably not going to merge anything unless my wife wants it. But feel free, you can do your own fork, make this app however you want. I just wanted to share with you the StockTextAlerts website. You can go to it, but you'll get that banner saying like new registrations are closed. So not going to be useful for you, but essentially you can deploy this app to your own domain and go hog wild. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I hope this is helpful to you. If you have a wife that day trades or you do day trading and you're interested in notifications and a pretty robust system that uses Telegram and SES to send you things based on the market, I think this could be a good fit for you.